Welcome to our first emergency podcast because Luka Doncic just got traded out of the blue for Anthony Davis. This is the most shocking trade in NBA history. We're not even going to roll the intro, Patrick. Like, where were you when you got the news? What was your initial thoughts?
So I was in downtown Disney with my fiance and a couple friend of ours that were getting engaged literally yesterday. So we had just sat down at like a bar and we ordered our drinks, and I don't know, I'm a piece of shit. So I lull in the conversation, pull out my phone, pick up Twitter, and it's just as Shams has sent out that tweet, I see it. And the guy that got engaged yesterday is also, shout out Kevin, is also a gigantic NBA fan. So I immediately show him and I'm like, this is crazy. Shams got hacked. I can't believe this. Like, when are they gonna redact this tweet? And then just the reports like trickle in. I'm starting to think like, oh my God, like the reporting behind this is solid. This is real. Then people start texting me, like we jump on the phone together. Like, to say that it is the most surprising trade in NBA history, I don't think even gives it like the shock value that it really was. Like, I think it's the most surprising trade in North American sports history. I can't think of anything that's close. Like, it had me Googling the Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees trade yesterday because it's just so unbelievable to trade. If you somehow didn't see the trade, to trade, it was
Luka, Markieff Morris, Maxi Kleba for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 29 first.
One first, and then the Jazz slipped in there and got Jalen Hood-Schifino. Where were you when you heard the news?
I was sitting at this desk just playing video games with my girlfriend, and my friend Neil texts me, who's been on the pod. Neil's been on the pod a couple times, and he's like, sends me the thing, and I finally get around to reading it. I'm like, there's no way this is real. And I'm just trying to find, like, is there a little, like, accent above the A in Sharania? And then finally he sends me the Nico Collison quote, or Nico
Collins.
Collison, Harrison, Collins.
Harrison is
at this point. His name is irrelevant. He will not be the Mavericks GM for much longer. Probably in about a year and a half, he's going to get canned. But and I was like, no fucking way. We got Luka Doncic is on the Lakers now. Like, that's the most. I did feel like, obviously this is a huge win for the Lakers. Slam dunk. Lakers won the trade. No doubt about it. I have seen, and I kind of felt it too, as someone who's watched this LeBron AD do. It's kind of sad a little bit for the Lakers. I'm actually kind of bummed out to see it end so abruptly like this.
I mean, it's really interesting to think you go throughout Lakers history, and we've never seen them ever that I can think of. Maybe, and you're gonna laugh at this name, maybe like a Gail Goodrich before they were really actually good, but we've never seen them move off a super megastar that they had before their prime was finished, especially one that they won the championship with in Anthony Davis. Like, it really, Anthony Davis legacy talk is really interesting at this point because it's like, you know, most guys, they just go straight into the courtyard of statues when they have a resume like AD. And I mean, I would assume that's not going to happen at this point for him.
Yeah, it's just weird for the Mavericks. I mean, obviously for the Lakers, they're not even thinking about this season. So I feel like judging this Lakers season of wins and losses going forward, it's like obviously LeBron, Luka pairing with no defensive infrastructure around them, not a solid, real contender.
Not to mention Luka is still injured, and I would imagine will probably be held out for longer after this trade.
Yeah, he was supposed to come back on the 4th, but yeah, maybe it'll be after the break, but. I mean, for the Mavs, though, this is like, okay, 2-year window.
So, okay. I feel like the number one question
where do we
have
begin?
to get in.
Where do we begin?
The number one question that, I don't know, people have asked me in just like, what the fuck is going on, is why do the Mavericks do this? What is the thought process here? And I feel like the number one place you need to go first with what the Mavericks thought process is the looming Supermax extension that Luka was going to be eligible to sign next offseason. What was that looming Supermax? It was a 5-year, $346 million extension that he was eligible to sign. And so we've heard, even I have said to a lot of people before I really looked into it, the Mavericks were afraid with the second apron and how punitive it is that they would not be able to build a championship team around Luka Doncic on that deal. And let me say, after looking into it, that's bullshit.
Well, let me say also, I feel like any NBA team operating as if the second apron rule is going to last past the CBA is insane. It's going to get rescinded.
I mean, regardless of that, how else do you win in the NBA, in any iteration of the NBA, than by having a top 3 to 5 player, which you can just book Luka will be, regardless of the, I don't know, I guess conditioning concerns. But you look at Anthony Davis's contract. Anthony Davis is making $43 million this year, $57 million next year, $62 million in 26-27, and then in 27-28 he's making $66 million. The Luka Doncic contract would be more. He would be at 64 in 27-28, 69 in 28-29, 74 in 29-30, and 78 in 30-31. Largest contract in NBA history, which is what it would have been. He's not eligible to sign that contract anymore, which makes it even more of a boon for the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers made out like bandits. And I mean, also the being around to build Luka is blah, 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 is ridiculous because I feel like Luka is unique superstar mold where, yes, it's very heliocentric ball. So you could argue, yeah, the ceiling for a team, maybe you're never going to be able to build a 70-win team around a guy who's that heliocentric, but the floor is just so high with players like Luka. It's like the 2017 LeBron James, 2018 James Harden mold of player where it's like, it doesn't even matter who's on the court with him. As long as you have some defensive big out there who can catch a lob, like that team is going places.
And we don't have to speak in hypotheticals. We
just saw it. We
made the finals last year. It's crazy.
They made the finals last year, and he was playing like he was like with like a. It looked like he had a knee tear half of that finals run. He was like just injured the whole time.
So then once you get past the money thing of why do the Mavericks do this, you start looking into all of the rumors and like. There were reports coming out yesterday that Luka Doncic was over 270 pounds. And I don't know, I think Windhorse, he was on TV this morning and his quote really, I think, really just tells the story to me. He had a NBA All-Star text him and say, do you know how much the Mavericks must hate Luka to make this trade? And like, that is what it is. There must have been deep institutional problems between Luka and the Mavericks front office and ownership and coaching staff to make this trade happen. Because I think, like, how much did they leave on the table not shopping him, not making it a bidding war?
But Patrick, I mean, don't you read the reporting? Nico, Cairns, Collins, Harrison is best friends with every player in the NBA, apparently.
Yeah, definitely Anthony Davis. Definitely.
Yeah,
Davis.
I have you noticed every Mavericks story ever the last 2 years is like they can bring this guy in because him and the GM are friends. Like,
yeah,
bro, NBA players are not friends with the GM. Stop it.
Well, apparently they are now. But
yeah.
But seriously, man, 1 first-round pick. And not only that, how do you do this trade and not demand from the Lakers to include Dalton Connect in this deal? Right?
Or Austin Reeves.
Or Austin Reeves, or literally, I guess I get the Austin Reeves thing. If, I don't know, you're not interested in him, you would think Austin Reeves would be a perfect match for Dallas.
Well, I guess for them, Austin Reeves is the same defense. I mean, hypothetically, their whole thing was like defense wins championships. Which, so, like...
What do you think about the Mavericks, like, looking at this season? A Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively / Daniel Gafford, like, top 6.
I honestly, I don't like this Mavericks team. And the reason I don't like the Mavericks team is because I feel like the thing I hated about them coming into the year that I was really like adamant that I thought they lost was rim pressure from the perimeter. Like they traded out athletic guys for Thompson, who's much more of a shooter. They just traded a lot of like rim attacking from the perimeter for shooting, and now, outside of Anthony Davis, who's not coming from the perimeter, where is the rim pressure coming from? Because Kyrie does not get to the rim as much as people think, despite the amazing handles. He just doesn't get to the rim, and he doesn't play make at the rim the same way Luka does. So you're losing this insane playmaking rim pressure presence that was kind of the only rim pressure presence you had on the team coming from the perimeter.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I guess in a vacuum, I don't hate it. Knowing that they gave up Luka Doncic to make this team possible is why I hate it for the Mavericks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think this year and next year, while I assume Kyrie will probably be the last two great Kyrie, sorry, it is early in the morning here. It is early. Kyrie Irving years. I think they are going to be a good team, especially if they can trade out Gafford, who I'm assuming is now the odd man out, for a serviceable wing.
Yeah, it is funny that this is like, is this not Anthony Davis's dream to play with two real bulky centers at all time? He's never going to have to play center, Anthony Davis. But yeah, I mean, it's like, does Kyrie have it in him to crank up his usage way past what we've seen any of the last, I mean, pretty much since, I don't know, ever. When have we seen Kyrie Irving have this much of a playmaking responsibility all on, like, laid at his feet? And just, like, an offensive responsibility to make everything work.
No, we haven't seen it since when he was alone in Brooklyn. Before that 1 year in Brooklyn before KD got healthy was the only year we saw it. And obviously that Nets team was kind of mid.
Yeah, it was not that great. Obviously, they didn't have the defensive infrastructure, but it does also kind of feel like the Dallas Mavericks are making a calculated decision of they, one, hate Luka Doncic, and two, they feel after facing the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs last year that the way to beat them is just to be big and to be physical and to be dominating from the inside out, definitely starting on the defensive end. I mean, I think they definitely have the athleticism from the two largest spots on the court.
I feel like what's scary, though, about that matchup was last year the Thunder were like, we're going to put Lou Dort on Luka. And, like, for most players, having Lou Dort guard you is kind of like shit. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's not good.
Ask
that's
Brandon Ingram.
It's going to hurt my efficiency quite a bit. Luka's like the one or two guys in the league that Lou Dort really isn't going to bother that much. So you're kind of amplifying the Thunder's best or second best perimeter defender, depending on how you feel about Caruso.
Yeah. No, definitely. You definitely are. And I mean, you bring up Alex Caruso. He's kind of built in a lab to guard Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this for the Mavericks. I mean, I do think they're going to be a good team. Like, I really do think this is a 50-win team with this Kyrie, Davis, defensive centers, and shooting core they have. But I just think it really is lacking that rim pressure from the perimeter. Like, and I think that was kind of already a missing piece, and now it's even worse. But you have any other thoughts on the Mavs? Like, I mean, did we talk about the Brunson piece too? Like, Brunson and Luka were their draft class that year. Like, this is a
2018 Dallas Mavericks draft class, arguably one of the better draft classes.
I think you could argue that's the greatest draft class in NBA history, especially if Brunson ends up making like an All-NBA second team this year.
Yeah,
you drafted All-NBA first team guy, like the youngest first team collector since LeBron, and you draft a guy who's going to make an All-NBA second team. That has to be the greatest draft class in history, no?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a like Michael Cooper, Magic Johnson, Lakers draft class, and I'd have to look at a couple of the other ones, but it's definitely right there.
Yeah,
I guess the only argument you could make is that the Mavericks didn't get those years out of Jalen Brunson, but I mean, they
got some good years out of him though?
They got a great playoff series out of him.
But it is weird though that Dallas now, what is this? The second time in 3 years has identified an All-NBA, top 2 All-NBA team caliber player on their own team. And in Brunson's case, decided he wasn't good enough. They didn't want to give him a big deal. In Luka's case, the reporting is similar. They didn't want to pay him?
I guess. I just can't believe that. Because, like, are they committed to moving off Davis in the next 4 years? Because that's my question. If they are, then like, yeah, go get it. Go get those savings, guys. I know their owners are casino people now, but you would think that, like, you just have to do this trade in the offseason. You have to do this trade in the offseason. It is it's malpractice in my opinion. I guess the one other thing I wanted to bring up was, is this the precursor to a Jimmy Butler to Dallas deal?
But what are they going to give the? I mean, bro. I mean, at this point, you better give us Kyrie Irving. We just saw what you gave for Anthony Davis. I feel like. I'm sorry. As Anthony Davis single-handedly dragged a team to 2 finals, he only did 1. So I feel like we got to get Kyrie in this deal. No, yeah, like I don't even. If you're the Heat, though, where do you even start negotiating? You're like, well, we just saw what you gave.
There's pretty much only one way to do it, which is why it's not going to happen. But it would be Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, and a minimum I put in Dante Exum, and that gets the money over the line to make it a legal trade. And I mean, obviously Jimmy's like price is in the basement, but I don't know that I would bet on a Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving core to gel very well.
Yeah, if they do make a trade for Jimmy, I actually really kind of like this Mavs team, and I think they could win the West.
Yeah,
if they trade for Jimmy and they don't lose too much, like I do think that is a really good team.
It's a shallow team though, which is
shallow,
what freaks me out. You know, I say this all the time when we're talking about fake trades, and I think Lakers fans especially should keep this in mind when we turn over to their side of the trade. But 4-for-1 deals mid-season don't happen because it's really, really hard to just go out and sign 3 players that aren't under contract in the NBA mid-season like this. But for a guy like Jimmy Butler, you
do it. Yeah.
So, some things are a little bit different.
All right, let's talk Lakers, man. Also, last night I was also so confused because it was like, it's real. Here's the quotes, and I'm like on the Lakers like social media pages, and I'm like, we don't even have a graphic ready. It really seems like everybody got like all the reporting is LeBron didn't know, Luka didn't know, Davis didn't know. Like, I didn't know. I didn't hear if JJ Redick knew or if Jason Kidd knew. Like,
well, I saw that like once it was like picking up steam. All of the coaching staffs became aligned on the fact, but it's like, I don't know. Of course they're going to say that. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers, the team that traded for Wilt Chamberlain, the team that signed Shaquille O'Neal, the team that, traded for Pau Gasol, that signed LeBron James, has now traded for a 5-time first-team All-NBA player
at the age of 25.
At the age of 25. It's enough to make me sick, James. It's enough to make me sick. But, I mean, like, it's just you have to do it. It makes you worse this season, but you have to do it. I was looking at the list of guys that have made first-team All-NBA at least 3 times by their age 25 season. You're looking at guys like LeBron, never traded. Kobe, never traded. Obviously, Luka was traded yesterday. But KD, Dwight Howard, Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Isaiah Thomas, Jason Tatum, Giannis, like these guys not only do they not get traded when they're under 25, they don't get traded ever. And if they change teams, it's either a free agency thing. The only thing that I could find even close to this was Chris Paul. And there was a lot of smoke when Chris Paul was moving teams to the LA Clippers. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers have set their foundation for the next 10, 15 years of their franchise. And I think the only question, I think the biggest question is, where does LeBron James fit in all of this?
Yeah, that's the weird thing is like, clearly, I feel like it's just, Nico calls up and he's like, Luka Doncic, and the Lakers are like, literally anybody you want. Literally anybody you want. We'll even throw in Bronny for the merch sales that we're gonna miss out on. But like, yeah, I think this year there's two ways I could see this year going. The Lakers are just like, this is a 10-year pivot. This season doesn't matter. We're just gonna let Luka rest a lot. We're gonna let LeBron ride it out. We'll figure out if LeBron wants to stay. If he does, we'll figure it out from there in the offseason. Or they go, now that we have Luka, we don't need Austin Reeves playmaking that much. We could trade Reeves for a center. I know the salaries are a little wonky. Maybe there's like a Kessler trade. I mean, if you're the Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, if you're the Jazz, why not link up again? And I think if there's a world where if the Lakers are like, all right, maybe we don't have a lot of depth, but we do have Luka, LeBron, Rui, DFS, and Kessler, like, that's a fucking big, really talented,
very skilled,
high IQ with like a real defender and DFS, a real rim protector and Kessler, and Rui maybe not the most skilled defender and rebounder, but size, LeBron size, Luka
big,
size,
athletic.
Like, that's a team. And then you got Connect for scoring off the bench. I mean, we'll see what Connect looks like in the playoffs. He's a rookie. And then outside of Connect, it's going to get really dicey if you don't have Reeves anymore. But and Christie, who I know you think is horrible. He was coming on a bit at the end there. The
I
Lakers
did see. I will acknowledge that.
He was coming on a bit, and he was literally the Lakers' best guard defender, and they lost him too. So that's the problem is the Lakers could have another, I guess, a killer starting lineup with like. Well, you know what, though? The interesting thing about that team construction, if they can pull off a Kessler trade, is you still need the backup center. That's still an issue no matter what, because Jackson Hayes isn't it. But because of the way LeBron and Luka play with their heliocentrism, if you can stagger them, you can kind of uplift any bench unit.
Yeah, no, you definitely can. I mean, when I look at this Lakers depth chart right now, like, just in a vacuum, they have the worst center rotation in the NBA. And I think they have a massive lack of athleticism and obviously defensive personnel. That was something we've been talking about all season, that the Lakers didn't have the defensive personnel to be a real contender. And then they traded away Anthony Davis. And obviously that makes all things worse.
Patrick, can I give you some stats, though?
Give me some stats.
All right, I'm going to go old head stats. These are pretty basic stats. Patrick.
Okay.
Lakers 28-19, fifth in the West.
Yeah, fifth in the West. It's very good.
1-0 against the New York Knicks with no Anthony Davis.
Yes, that is the team construction right there.
I think they're like 6-1 on the year without Anthony Davis. But obviously, I'm not naive. In the playoffs, you're going to need AD's defense. But for all the flaws this team has, every team in the West outside of the Thunder has enough flaws that they're 3 games away from the 2 seed.
Yeah. I mean, hey, but you don't want to look at what happens if they're 3 games the other way, because there's a lot of teams sitting over there.
They'd be 7. They'd be 7. Okay.
I don't know. I tried to pull together a bunch of Lakers center trades, and it's hard, in my opinion, to make one that like is just like a home run swing for the Lakers. Obviously, if they can do something like that, I don't know, a Walker Kessler trade for Austin Reeves in my world is a huge L for the Lakers. I just think I'm so much higher on Austin Reeves and obviously the fit for Austin Reeves is not there anymore, but I just think he's so much more talented than Walker Kessler.
Yeah, I mean, he's a better player. Maybe they can get something else, too, in that trade. I don't know. It's the hard part about Reeves, and you've brought it up, is Reeves is on, like, this amazing, amazing contract, which is great when you want to keep the guy, but it's really bad when you want to trade the guy for other good players, because other good players tend to not be on good contracts like Austin Reeves.
Yeah. But, so what I pulled together is, like, I mean, you can still do a Gabe Vincent for Jonas Valanciunas. That's been out there. I think that's probably the most likely next move for the Lakers. A Rui Hachimura and like Jared Vanderbilt for Clint Capella. Clint's been really good this season. I think that he would play amazingly next to
that's
Luka.
The hard part, though, is that the Vando has been also really good for the Lakers since he's come back from injury. I think he's averaging like literally a steal every 5 minutes right now of game time, which is a crazy small sample size stat. But
do you trust him to stay on the court? I
don't know if you trust Vando to stay on the court, but it is kind of like that one thing where it's like, It would be nice to have Vando in an OKC series to throw on Shea or J-Dub.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in a perfect world, you hold on to him.
I do feel like you don't want to go into the postseason being like our only good perimeter defender is DFS.
Yeah. Well, and then the other trade that I pulled together just quickly, which I think I don't know. I don't know if this is necessarily what you're looking for, but the best talent I would feel of any of the guys that I've brought up so far is like a Rui Hachimura and Christian Wood for Nikola Vucevic. It's an expiring deal. Obviously, he can really stretch the floor, having a career year, like shooting like 40% from three. I think you probably want someone a little bit more defensively tilted
I just
for
feel
Vooch.
I feel like Vooch is fun. Valanciunas, I don't mind if he's the second guy, but I just feel like whoever the starting new center is, they have to be a lob threat. They just have to be in that like lively Gafford, Capella mold for that
and that's
to
a really hard thing to find.
Which is so weird. It feels like those players were everywhere like 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think it's just like, there are those guys, your run and jump big men, but the NBA is so sophisticated now that it's like some of them, they just cannot survive in the league because they don't have the mentals.
It's weird. It's like it's the type of archetype that is just perfect alongside these heliocentric players, but they're kind of useless on a lot of other teams.
Well, and I think it's hard to play with a heliocentric player like Luka in that like you really have to be really, really smart and super engaged and like, I don't know. That's why like Derek Lively is so impressive, I would say.
But yeah, so assuming the Lakers either do or don't, I guess that's going to be the big thing. Is the Lakers go in or they don't go in? I feel like the Lakers will go in.
That's the question. I mean, I think you got to figure out how long Luka's going to be out. When are we going to get Luka? What does it look like once we get Luka back? Does LeBron keep us at the 5 seed? Do we fall back a little bit? Like, I think, but also, I mean, the trade deadline is next Thursday.
So the Lakers have a Clippers game tomorrow in the Intuit Dome, which is the Clippers arena. Wow. Maybe that's probably a tough one. They got Warriors at home, a team they've had a lot of success against the entire LeBron era. Pacers at home, Jazz at home, Jazz on the road, All-Star break. I mean, there's a chance the Lakers go 4-1 without AD and without Luka here to close out this pre-All-Star. Probably 3-2. I don't know.
How awkward is that All-Star game going to be?
I know. Well, because the reporting is that LeBron got blindsided. I don't think there's any tension between Davis and LeBron. And actually, that's LeBron's only public statement is he called a reporter who said there was tension a liar.
Yeah, I scream. You a fucking
lie.
Fucking
liar. You a fucking lie.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Pinocchio emoji, clown emoji.
Wow, dude, the Lakers, they got Jazz twice. They come back, Hornets, Blazers, and then the Mavericks. Even if this Lakers team is super flawed, they're hitting this super soft part of their schedule that they could really really start off pretty hot here.
I will say I've been throwing water on these Lakers flames. Once you get to the playoffs and you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic, anything can happen. We have had so many talks about the ceiling of this Lakers team. I don't think it can be stressed how much Luka Doncic takes your ceiling, chews it up, and shits it out because he's Luka fucking Doncic. And he is just that much better than Anthony Davis in a winning perspective. He can just pull wins out of his ass because he's Luka Doncic. Like, he is a top 3 player in this league. And I think LeBron, obviously last night, LeBron can kind of reach back in the clock from time to time. I mean, I would not choose them to win the West, but like, I don't know.
Patrick,
stranger things have happened.
Can I go Lakers pessimist after I just did Lakers optimism hour?
Yeah.
They're so cooked if they have to play the Nuggets again.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I know Jokic, Anthony Davis, like when Jokic saw Anthony Davis guarding him, he kind of acted like nobody was guarding him. But man, the things Jokic is going to do to this Lakers team if they don't make a trade for 2 bigs is going to be disturbing.
I guess that is my question though, James. Like, would you pedal to the metal, try to like get as built up, use all of your assets to build a roster right now to get ready for a playoff run? Or would you just kind of do what you can with the second round picks that you have, fill out the roster, but not try to make any major moves after this, and just kind of posture yourself, get yourself ready for next season and the Luka Doncic Lakers era?
I would go really hard on trying to find win now trades and only pull the trigger if I find a good one.
Yeah.
If there's a situation where you can finesse another team into some crazy lopsided trade, like maybe you don't get just Kessler, you get, I don't know, Kessler and some other piece who can help you win right now in some Jazz trade, or if the Miles Turner trade finally happens and you're able to get him on a crazy discount.
See, with that, I'm like, why the fuck would the Pacers trade Miles Turner? I see that all the time, and I'm like, they're trying to win.
Yeah, well, the Pacers have been trying to trade Miles Turner for like 6 years, so
been trying to. I think if they really wanted to trade him, he would not be a Pacer. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
I feel like for the Lakers, if you can just finesse one other team into giving you that big, and then all of a sudden you can make the Vincent and picks for Valanciunas, and all of a sudden you have a real bench now, like, I think they should go all in, because I do think they can beat. Like, if I'm this Lakers team, I'm really not afraid of the Rockets. I'm not afraid of the Grizzlies. The only team that would really scare me at that point is the Thunder and the Nuggets.
Dude, you're not afraid of the Rockets and the Grizzlies?
If I have LeBron James and Luka Doncic on my team, not at all. Not at all.
There's no team in the West that has more people that can guard those two than the Rockets. And the Grizzlies are just like monsters down low.
I just wouldn't. I personally, if I'm going into those series, I'd pick the Lakers pretty handily in both of them.
Oh my
if
God,
you've got
this
Luka,
season is
LeBron,
gonna
and
be so
infrastructure
fun.
around them,
yeah, I guess
you'd have
I
the
don't.
two best players in both series, and the gap between those two and the next best player would be gigantic.
I just don't believe that they'll be able to fill out. Like, this roster is tough. It is very tough right now, and I mean, we've just seen so many super duper teams fall short recently because the roster was not athletic, not defensively tilted, and it just like sets up a really, really tough scenario for those stars to operate within.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Fun question.
Yeah.
Or say what you got to say.
No, go to fun question first. I was going to pivot as well.
Okay, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Should he be traded?
Oh, this is where I was going to go too.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, I saw some reporting that, I don't even know if it was a reporter or just one of those like Twitter fan accounts that has a lot of engagement and clout, but it was like, this opens the door for the LeBron to Golden State trade, and I don't think LeBron's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere either.
It seems like LeBron, I feel like sometimes as fans, we're solely thinking about like the on the court, world, and usually guys who have $50 million houses in Bel Air don't want to move to Silicon Valley. That's just usually how it kind of goes.
I mean, I think he could be.
Like, the human element of this is, I don't think LeBron's relocating his family from Los Angeles. It seems like he loves living in LA. It seems like that's kind of been an integral part of this whole Lakers situation. More than the Lakers team was the location that he got to live in. And so I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, LeBron really seriously considered joining the Clippers back in, like, 2010 when they were thinking about giving him an ownership stake with the team. Like, I feel like this whole career, if you actually read the tea leaves, he's wanted to end up in this city. So I don't think he wants to leave this city as, like, a place he lives.
Yeah, I mean, I do question, like, the clutch aspect of this trade. Because, it's tough to move off a guy like Anthony Davis. Obviously, he's having a super, super dominant year. Yeah. And I wonder what, if any, repercussions come from, moving off pretty much Clutch's big client after LeBron retires. I mean, it needs bearing in mind. LeBron James has a no trade clause, so he couldn't just be traded anywhere, which is why I think the Warriors speculation is right there. You could do a basic trade like framework basically around like, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and like a couple other like mid-sized contracts.
If I'm the Lakers, I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And if I'm LeBron,
it sets you up for success down the road, but I don't know how much better materially it makes you right now.
I don't even know. I don't know. If I'm the Lakers, like, I know Wiggins is having a good year. Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors stink. I don't want the Warriors pieces. They're not. The Warriors suck.
This just sounds like a man that wants to see LeBron James and Luka Doncic play together.
Yeah, that seems like a fun time, no? But, I mean, I'm confused on what it's going to look like. All right, surely they're going to play together at least a couple games, or no?
Who, LeBron and Luka?
Yeah.
Like, if LeBron gets traded?
No, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, that would fucking be insane. I mean, anything can happen.
The only way I don't even know if this is a possible trade. I feel like the only way LeBron could possibly get traded is if the Lakers are like, you know what, we're going to clear cap space now and try to, do one shit year with Luka, and all of a sudden we're in that Giannis free agency class 2 years from now. Or Giannis, No, he's still going to be a free agent, right?
Yeah,
yep.
He will still be a free agent, which, I mean, that's a very Lakers-y, historically sounding move. I don't know, because, I do wonder, like, is this what LeBron wants for his last 2 years? Like, does he want it to be the Luka show, or does he want it to be the LeBron and Friends hour for his last 2 years?
Well, but if we're going off this year, he fully ceded the offense to Anthony Davis. They completely changed the offense with Redick to play through Davis in the post. LeBron's points are down, his usage, everything counting-wise is down for LeBron. But he is playing really well lately. He just had his 10th triple-double. Like, I think the way LeBron's evolved his game is going to make him a good off-the-ball player, but he's not going to sign up for Luka heliocentric ball. Because even LeBron at his heliocentric apex did not play this high of a usage, this much pick and roll me every single possession. It was never quite like Luka ball.
So I'm with you on that. I think, like, when you just think about a LeBron partner, Luka is nothing like we've ever seen him enjoy before. And then this goes to why I think it does make a little bit of sense to trade LeBron James is, like, I think if you're trading LeBron, it has to be for a couple role players and a fuck ton of picks. The Lakers still don't have, like, massive control over their, like, draft assets going forward. Imagine if, I don't know, you could trade LeBron for, 2 or 3 loosely protected Golden State Warriors picks going forward. I think that's pretty valuable for them. And that's when you can really start, building all those young players and I don't just like the people you need around Luka to.
Here's my worry for the Lakers, and I don't know if it should be a big worry, but only because the Mavericks, obviously they didn't want to pay, but I kind of feel like you have to go to Luka this summer and be like, extension talks, here's our plan to make you a title contender this year and next year. And I think if you go to Luka and you're like, we've got 28 picks, he's going to be like, dude, the year's 2026. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
I
my
don't know.
worry.
I feel like Luka signs whatever.
Feel like I think the Lakers, because by all the reporting, Luka's blindsided by this. We have no indication of how he feels about playing for this team, how he feels about sharing the spotlight with we have no idea what any of this means for Luka himself, and I think the Lakers are going to have to go to him and be like, here's our plan for 2026. Like, we're going to be good. I don't think they can go into 2026 and be like, we're still looking for that second star.
But I mean, if that plan is going to Luka and saying our plan for 2026 is your second star is 41-year-old LeBron James, like, is that how materially better is that?
Well, I don't think you can trade LeBron for assets. You got to trade LeBron for players that can play right now. So I don't know who the partner is that has good players.
I mean, that's Golden State, is it not?
But Wiggins, I don't want to pay Wiggins $30 million if I'm the Lakers. Like, that's just a non-starter for me.
$30 million is the new $20 million, man.
I would rather have 41-year-old LeBron and the giant cap space opening he provides when he retires at the end of next season.
I mean, let's be real.
I think that's just a way more valuable play long term.
I mean, I agree with you. LeBron is more valuable in himself than any other asset. But, I mean, if the plan is to make or to do something with that cap space, I think that's a risky move. Because, you never know what you are going to be able to do. I guess Luka and Giannis, their free agency timelines coincide. So, yeah, I mean, we're talking about it. This is probably the plan, is trying to team up the two of them. So we probably won't see a Luka extension this summer, and that will be it. Dude, this is crazy.
This is crazy. I was trying to I was trying to. It's hard to even come up with a cross-sport comparison because relative to his sport, to your point, like Luka is about, other than a championship. Like, I'm going to consider 5 All-NBA first teams by the age of 25. To me, that's way more impressive than, like, an MVP award.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Like, for sure. Like, I don't think there's ever been a player of Luka's caliber at this age who's been traded at all with these level of accomplishments.
In any sport. Yeah,
like, I was thinking, like, this would be like if Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson got traded for, like, TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like if you're a fan of those teams, you're like, TJ Watt is awesome. He gets hurt a couple games every year, but he's pretty good. But you'd still be like, but we just gave up Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Wilt Chamberlain got traded really young. But it's like, that's the craziness of the comps that we have to come up with. We're talking about, like, before big money made its way into sports. Yeah, so it's like...
And even Wilt is a little different because I know Luka hasn't won the chip, but it's like Wilt, it was always like he can never beat Bill. Whereas Luka, it's like, it seems like half of the Western Conference has had a moment where he's sunned them at some point.
Well, I'm talking about first trade where he got traded to San Francisco. So that was even before, I think, his first title. And I mean, he was Wilt Chamberlain. He was the biggest star probably in the NBA at the time.
Yeah.
But it happened because they couldn't financially, it didn't make sense, and they weren't winning the way that they wanted to if they were going to pay a guy like Wilt Chamberlain. And you can't say that for the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks went to the finals last year, went to the conference finals 3 years ago. Like, you have had all of the playoff success that I think you can expect from a 25-year-old superstar.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I know Luka was a bit of a defensive disaster in those finals, but he was hurt. This kind of reminds me of, sorry to do another weird cross-sport comparison, but like Cleveland Browns, you have Baker Mayfield in the building. Obviously, Luka's a way better caliber player relative to his sport, but you know because you're the team that employs this guy that he's playing with a shoulder injury. You let him go, he gets healthy, and he looks like how he did early in his career. And surely there's a version of Luka where he's not playing with a hobbled knee and he doesn't look like Trae Young out there.
Yeah.
Like, this just is idiotic. Also, yeah, you made it to the finals.
That's why it's like, what don't we know about this situation? I mean,
like,
Luka must be such a tough guy to get along with. He must be such a cancer for your locker room.
Which we've never heard from his teammates ever.
No, we've never heard that. But it's like, how can you make this trade if that is not true? I mean, I called you and immediately was like, oh my gosh, is Luka like in legal trouble? like, did he just have a DUI or something? Like, that's the level of like shakeup that in my mind a transaction like this entails.
I'm
especially
thinking of
when you don't get all the first round picks they have. How do you do that?
I'm thinking of a bizarro alternate world where it's like 2021, the Lakers have just won the title. They trade LeBron James. It's 2022, the Bucks just traded Giannis. 2023, the Warriors just traded Curry. 2024, like the Nuggets just traded Jokic. Like, what? That's just like, imagine if that happened. That's basically what happened.
Mid-season is the craziest thing of all of this, because it's like, I don't know. You're just like, they're high on their own supply. I don't know.
Patrick, Luka Doncic is averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, and 2 steals a game.
What's his career averages?
Luka Doncic, for his career, averages 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists.
I mean, that is one of the best players all time. Traded pre-prime.
That's the other thing. Luka's not even at his apex yet.
You expect your superstars, like when you look back on the NBA history, to win their first championship around 27, around 28. That's when LeBron did it. That's when Giannis did it. I'm pretty sure MJ is right in line with that. I mean, the fact that you don't just extend him and keep the ball rolling, like you could have traded Luka after he won his first MVP. You could have traded Luka after the playoffs where his stock was as high as it could have ever been. But instead, you trade him for Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick and Max fucking Christie? It makes you think, like, is it rigged? Like, did Adam Silver just make the call and say, did the ghost of fucking David Stern say, hey, buddy, we need a new star in L.A., and just possess Nico Harrison's body?
I don't know. Dude, also, I was funny. So last night, obviously, I confirmed that it was real from all the reporting, but I'm like on the Lakers social media pages. I'm like, where's the graphic? I got to see the graphic. I want to see the jersey swap. Still nothing from Lakers Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Bro, I was pulling up the NBA store. I was like, let's go, man. I'm going to start going to Lakers games again.
And from a Suns fan perspective, it is just like, it's such a clear, like, it's just so clean. It's like our least favorite player in the league is now on our least favorite team. It just, it's so synergistically good for Suns fans to hate a team. I've never seen anything like it before, really.
Yeah, this is, did you see the video of the Suns players reacting to it?
Yes. That was so good. That was so
My favorite
good.
part was Kevin Durant uses a stylus for his cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Which I respect. I feel like people who do that respect.
Hey, I'm in on
No, the stylus is cool. For the phone? I know, for the tablet for sure, but for the phone, I feel like whenever you see someone using a stylus on the phone, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, you must be doing really good.
Yeah, you're doing well, I mean, Kevin Durant's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he is doing pretty good. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. It's just like, what's the next move? I have no idea.
Well, we're going to find out in about 5 days. Patrick and I are going to be live streaming between 11 a.m. PST to 1 p.m. PST on Thursday. Our reaction to the trade deadline. We'll probably talk a lot about this Luka trade while we wait for news to trickle in on that one. You know, Patrick, I thought this was going to be kind of a blah trade deadline. I was kind of expecting De'Aaron to the Spurs, Jimmy to whoever. Low-key, still feel like Jimmy might not get traded.
I don't know. That whole situation is really hard for me to like suss out because all the reporting is that they're just done with him and they need to get him off, but it just doesn't seem like there's a team that can take him on right now.
My one thought is if the Heat go full blow everything up mode and just get ready to restart, is there like a Bam Adebayo trade maybe in the works?
To the Lakers?
To anybody?
I mean, there should be. Johnny Carmack, friend of the pod as well, he was sending me frameworks for Domantas Sabonis to the Lakers trades last night, which it's like, if the Kings are blowing it up, why aren't they trying to capitalize on Sabonis, who's having an incredible season in his own right? There's a lot of the 1Bs to all the 1A stars that are on the market. It's a great question of like, why are they not being moved as well? Why is there no because a lot of teams could use a Bam Adebayo or a Domantas Sabonis like really bad.
Yeah. No. Also, there's a lot of guys now. I feel like the trade line. I know this was like a weird out of the blue trade that was super unordinary, but it now opens both the Lakers and Mavericks to so many new avenues of like aggressive trades that both teams I think need to make if they want to prioritize this particular season, which I feel like we'll operate under that assumption until they tell us otherwise. So I don't know. It's a little like I feel like this has kind of blown the trade window open. Like I'm really curious what we're going to see next.
Can I say my big sleeper right now?
Yeah.
especially after last night's trade, my biggest sleeper to make a gigantic mega move is the Los Angeles Clippers. They have the contracts to make a trade work. They don't have like a massive amount of picks, but I think their contracts are so good and you can accumulate them so easily. And they're just, you look at their record, they're right there that they could so easily make a push. Kawhi Leonard has been playing well recently. Keep an eye on the Clippers. It makes so much sense for them to continue to go all in because you know what? They don't have their picks still.
Yeah.
So why not?
Patrick, one more thing. I don't remember what year it is, but I just want to say a special FU to the Mavericks because they have a pick swap with the Thunder that the Thunder are they're just salivating right now.
Oh my God. Yeah. How do you think the Thunder feels about this trade? Last question before we hang it up for the night.
I think they're happy. One, I know the Thunder have struggled against the Mavs this year. They're 1-3 against the Mavs, and I know in this little 2-year stretch they have struggled against the Lakers in particular. But I feel like they have to be like, okay, so Dallas now lost the head of the snake, and the Lakers kind of lost the thing that half of what makes them a weird matchup for us. I think the Thunder before this were probably pretty confident against the Lakers in a playoff series, but now they're like, okay, you guys lost Anthony Davis. Like, yeah, you have Luka, but you've consolidated all your strength where we're pretty strong, which is perimeter defense. But the thing about the Thunder, I will say, I know that I feel like they, Hartenstein and Chet versus currently nobody. If I'm the Thunder, super confident. The one thing that still sucks about this matchup for the Thunder is while they are super good on the perimeter defensively, they are small. If I'm the Thunder,
they're strong though.
I would be a little bit, but I just haven't seen Lou Dort really effectively guard Luka or LeBron. Like, LeBron's given the Thunder a lot of issues during this little stretch here.
I think it's probably you put J-Dub on Luka, you put Lou on LeBron, and then you're just like, try and out-rebound us. Try to guard Shea.
But I think that's the only avenue if I'm the Thunder I'm worried is if the Lakers do somehow end up with that jumbo team we talked about, that hypothetical jumbo team, because then it's like, okay, they're like, it's going to look like the Celtics versus the Mavs where they've got 4 inches on us at every position, and that's where it gets a little scary.
I know. Yeah. Lakers-Celtics is in play once again.
But you know what? Patrick, just because I think it's fitting, I have a prediction.
Okay, give it to me.
Nuggets over Lakers in 6.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I know the Lakers. I just said they have a soft patch coming up, but it's a long season. They could go 4-1 or 6-1 over these next 7, and then go 3-4 over a hard stretch, and all of a sudden they're in the same 5 seed, and the Nuggets stay in the 4 seed. And I think if you're the Lakers, you just got to avoid Denver. You got to stop acting tough and confident and wanting to take them head on. Do it. You know what Denver was known for? Known for 3 years before they won the title? Losing on purpose to get the matchup they
dodging.
Wanted. Yeah, the Nuggets were literally the number 1 matchup dodger in the NBA. So
yeah, you do gotta miss that matchup because it's just
it's a death.
You can get
man.
by with okay centers against a lot of other teams, but Jokic will tear you a new asshole. It's what he does.
Yeah.
He is still the best player in the NBA, regardless of maybe the 3rd best player in the NBA has changed teams.
Even in a world where this LeBron-Luka pairing is somehow we're not seeing some element of it. Maybe it just super unlocks an element of Luka's game to be able to play with LeBron that we've never seen before.
Off-ball Luka?
Yeah, off-ball Luka, who I don't know as a cutter if I'm the most afraid of with his
270 pounds, barely making the cut.
But it does help unlock off-ball LeBron, who actually is a really good cutter and everything. But I will temper this. The Dallas pick swap, it's a 2nd rounder. Okay, not bad. Okay, yeah, the Thunder. Oh no, Thunder unprotected 1st round pick, 2028. Oh my God. So Dallas might have just handed the Thunder the most talented 17-year-old in the country. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder are inevitable. I don't know. I will say...
What are we talking about, Patrick? The Thunder are going to win the West 10 years in a row.
Come on. Yeah, that's how it always plays out. Last thing, I think the next Lakers move should be a consolidation pick trading their 1 first-round pick to either the Jazz or the Thunder for like 5 more first-round picks that they could actually trade and fill out this roster. A Sunsian move, if you will.
Weird question.
Yeah.
If the Mavericks are so afraid of the second apron, they trade Luka Doncic. Is there another mid-market team? Obviously, Dallas is a big market, but is there a mid-market team where they all of a sudden trade the Lakers some really good player because you're like, oh, I had no idea you guys were this afraid of the second apron coming up? Is that how a Nas Reed trade happens? Is that how a trade like that happens?
I mean, hell, they're already in the second apron. I don't think it's about them being afraid of the second apron, to be honest. I went over all those numbers beforehand. Of just like, you're really not saving that much money. And I think to put a really successful team around one of these mega supermax guys, you have to kind of approach the second apron, stare it down the pipe. And I think for super small teams, like small market teams, I don't know. You trade all the pieces around it. I just think this is malpractice from the Mavericks, and the Lakers are the ones that get to benefit off of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I feel like the NBA kind of desperately needed this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it makes you the conspiracy theories are so strong. It's like, oh, we saw how the NBA totally took all of the sports attention away from the NFL 2 years ago when KD was traded in the weeks in between the conference finals and the Super Bowl. How do we repeat that, but times 10? Oh, let's trade Luka Doncic the week before the Super Bowl to the Los Angeles Lakers and see what ESPN leads their A block with. Right?
Adam Silver was like, I'll help you build your casino if you trade Luka to the Lakers.
Literally.
Yeah, no, this is crazy. We will see you guys on Thursday. Wow. I'm still speechless. I'm honestly I'm just trying to read every tweet, look at every Instagram post. I'm trying to see everybody's opinions on this. Let us know what you guys think. We will see you on the next one. Peace.